Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today. I watched a weird show last night, Survivor Series 1993. This is a show that, honestly, when I was growing up, I thought was a huge deal in the history of the WWF. That, would be an instant classic that people would be talking about for years to come. I haven't seen this pay-per-view. I have thought about it probably since like 1994, renting this from like a Blockbuster video or something like that. But man, you want to talk about a show full of nothing that, like, now, once you're able to look back on it and see what could have been and what should have been, didn't happen. This was a lot of nothing. Probably the biggest story that falls over this is that they were booking a, Bret Hart versus Jerry Lawler match. That was going to be, Jerry Lawler having his nights. They were replaced mostly because some of them didn't want to work the match. Mostly because Jerry Lawler had gotten in trouble with an underage girl. That story you can go out and you can find on your own. It has been on the covers of dirt sheets for years, and Jerry beat whatever they were throwing at him. I'm not going to tell you that I know enough about the story to talk about it, but yeah. Jerry Lawler wasn't in the WWF for a while. Let's just say it like that. The nights were supposed to be played by WWF legends. Greg the Hammer Valentine did work the match. I know that Terry Funk was supposed to be one of the nights, but the night before he backed out, he told Vince that one of his horses was sick and he wasn't able to work the show. And I don't even remember who the third one was, but just, yeah. Bad match all over. There is one really good Survivor Series match. Team Razor, led by the Macho Man, led by Razor Ramon. The ultimate survivors from the match end up being the 1, 2, 3 Kid and Marty Jannetty. So it's a little bit messed up. This is also the pay-per-view where I still don't understand why they did it. The 4 doinks, that was the big build-up of the match. How were they going to be able to do it? We'd already seen WrestleMania 10 with 2 doinks. So were they going to have, just 4 performers wrestle as doink? No! We're going to get the Bushwhackers and Men on a Mission. The match still does not make any sense at all. It's horrible. It's bad. The main event of the night, what we're mainly going to discuss, is the Un-Americans going up against the Americans. This is the build up like they're going to war. You've got your team leader, who is kind of like the face of the WWF at the time, Lex Luger. He gets his buddies, the Steiners. A lot of American tradition there with them wrestling in their Michigan leather jackets, and then also the Native American Tatanka. One of my favorite wrestlers from when I was growing up. I really thought it was really cool, his undefeated streak when he first got started. I will tell you that kayfabely, I cried a little bit when he was eliminated from his first Royal Rumble, because I believed that he was going to win the Royal Rumble because he had never been defeated in the WWF. And he lost, and I thought they would count that as his first defeat. The first defeat that I can remember him having was a count-out victory to Ludvig Borga, who ends up being the main heel of this match. They were really starting to build him up after the count-out victory at SummerSlam. He is there to confront Lex Luger. I remember, when Lex won that match via count-out, I was running up and down the hallways of my house with my hands up, screaming, yes, yes, yes. And I forgot. The title didn't change hands on the count-out. So Lex didn't do anything. And that's one of the reasons why this show has no buzz to it at all. Because We know that there's no way that Lex Luger can become WWF champion. You're not going to have the championship change hands in a Survivor Series classic tag match. We've had, you know, the title change hands in a one-on-one match at Survivor Series before, but even that was kind of weird because we had never had a singles match at the Survivor Series. That, of course, being the Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan at Survivor Series 1991. But, you know, we know that Lex can't do it because that was one of the stipulations, was that, you know, Yokozuna was going to put the title on at Survivor Series. But if Lex couldn't do it, that was the only title shot that he was ever going to get. I guess the buildup was that they were going to do this sort of count-out victory. They probably had this Un-Americans versus Americans Survivor Series in their mind already. Like, this is going to do gangbusters. People are going to eat this up and buy it like crazy. And then they would do the Royal Rumble, when Lex would win, and then Lex would probably win at WrestleMania. That was probably the plans that they had. They would just have to find a way to make us, you know, believe in Lex for the rest of the year into WrestleMania the next year. One of the cool things about this match is that the match kept changing, and it wasn't like people were leaving. Just basically, they had a match on Raw, the Yokozuna going up against Tatanka. Yokozuna ends up squashing Tatanka with the bonsai drops in the corner, and they say that Tatanka's not going to be able to wrestle at Survivor Series. We then have a singles match of Lex Luger going up against one of the Quebecers, the one that's not the Mountie. The other one, PCO, or whatever his name is now. And he knocks him out with the forearm. Of course, that was put in the middle piece that was put in because of Lex's motorcycle accident. He ends up having to be replaced. You know, we have the good guys. They go out and they recruit the Undertaker. The Undertaker all of a sudden becomes the All-American. Who started, you know, in the beginning video of the show, he starts talking about the forefathers of America. He's talking about the guys who signed the Declaration of Independence in his, like, Undertaker talk. It did not make any sense at all. Lex Luger is horrible being the All-American guy. You know, he's basically reading his words off of cue cards. He's got no cadence on how to say things. The whole thing is really bad. Vince, you know, being the guy who kind of pulls it all together, is the one who really kind of like makes it make sense and make you care about it. But the bad guys, they go out and they get Kona Crush. At this time, he was turning on the Macho Man, who, you know, I guess they were friends, which I don't remember at all. Crush got hurt. Crush says that, you know, the Macho Man never called him or tried to help him, you know, in his time away from WWF when he was injured. And I guess the only person who did was Mr. Fuji. So he just becomes like a Japanese sympathizer. And he's kind of like, he's not really the muscle. You don't really ever see him, aside for this match, hanging out with Yokozuna. But he becomes like Team Japan. I don't know. He's this way all the way until WrestleMania 10 with the match. But this is kind of like the kickoff of the feud. I don't ever really remember what gets it started. But we see Macho Man in the Survivor Series match, even though he's in another match. So something must have kicked it off, and I don't really remember. So, you know, that's really your match. You've got the Steiners, the Undertaker, and Lex Luger. Those are your good guys, all four big names. Your best tag team in WWF, probably your biggest name, your main eventer, and then I don't really know how to define, you know, Undertaker had been WWF champion. He had his little run in 91 that lasted a few days. He's always kind of like been one of the, you know, he's like one of the, he's not in title matches, but he's in one of the, you know, the co-main events of the show. Let's just put it like that. So he's a big guy. Going up against Ludvig Borga, I will tell you right now, This guy scared the hell out of me. I thought he was believable. He had the look. He was a good wrestler in the ring. Even watching this match now, I maybe it's the memories I have of him. I don't know where this guy went. I mean, if he had an ankle injury, I don't know why a company like WCW, who's signing anybody and everybody, didn't give this guy a contract in like 96, 97 to come back. Why did we never see him again in WWF? It makes no sense to me. I loved this dude, and I believed in him big time. I hated him. I'll tell you this much. Hated him. But he's like one of my most memorable heels that, like, what if this guy could have been WWF champion? I'm telling you right now, if they would have had Luger beat Yoko, and maybe Yoko took some time off or took a back seat, Ludvig Borga could have beat Lex Luger, and honestly it would have been believable. This match here, once we get down to action, really it starts off in a bad manner. We got Rick Steiner jumping off the top rope. He's jumping into the arms of Ludvig Borga. Borga's supposed to catch him, flip him into a body slam, but instead, Steiner just goes right through him. As you would think that would be his offensive move, but it's not what it's supposed to be. Instead of, like, getting up and doing another move, Borga just covers him and gets a 1, 2, 3, and it's like, what the hell have we got here? From there, when Kona Crush gets into the ring, the Macho Man is in the back. Vince McMahon's saying that, Randy Savage is at Gorilla and he's trying to get out there to get at Crush. He ends up getting through and he's pushing all the agents off of him. From there, Crush sort of gets out of the ring trying to, like, see what's going on between them. Like, yo, what's up, brother? And he ends up getting counted out. We end up getting down to 2-on-2. It ends up being Undertaker and Lex Luger going up. We end up having Yokozuna against Ludvig Borga. The fight to the outside, we end up seeing another count out. We end up seeing Yokozuna and Undertaker. You don't want to kill those two guys' heat, and you want to be building up that, like, these guys still have a feud from, or would that be the feud? No, this would be the feud for the Rumble. They would have the match at the Rumble, so this sort of, like, kicks off their main event thing, and you don't want to see one of them pin the other one because you want to see that at the Rumble. So that's end up going to be a match for the future. People care about that. They're into it. When Yokozuna and Luger are in the ring, there's no buzz at all. Because, like I said, everybody knows there's no way that Lex can become champion. So it's dead as can be. But when Undertaker's in there, the fans are behind it. They believe in him. They think there's actually a chance that he could beat him. And it comes down to a one-on-one between Lex and Ludvig Borga. Lex ends up getting the win. It's just sort of a normal, like, one-on-one match where Lex goes through the steps. He hits him with the forearm, knocks him out, 1, 2, 3, and then immediately it starts snowing inside of the arena, which then we have a run-in from Santa Claus, and much like the end of the 92 Survivor Series, we have a showdown with, Santa Claus and Lex Luger waving to the crowd and saying, it's going to be a good new year. We are a month away. There's Monday Night Raws between now and then, but this is the last pay-per-view of the year, so I guess they decide this is the best time to do this. But, hey. It was a show from my childhood. I was able to talk about it for a good 14 minutes. It seems like these, retro videos that I'm making seem to be what I care about more than what's going on in wrestling today. At least we'll have, like, Hall of Fame videos coming up soon. I guess you can say those happen around the first of the year. So, hey. Survivor Series, 1993, classics. If you go back and watch that last WWE shop video, I actually got a shirt from this event through Marquee Classics. So, peace out, everybody. Have fun.